Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the broadcast tonight. So we're talking about email marketing, and I want to do just a very high level look at what email marketing is, why it matters, how it applies, and then how you guys can go ahead and consider starting to do some of your own email marketing. Now, when I'm talking about email marketing, it just as a quick prerequisite, you can't do any email marketing unless you really have something of value to advertise or to market. So if you only have an eBay business, there is some value in having an email list and doing some email marketing. But I'm speaking more to you guys who have your own e-commerce web store, or you guys who have your own affiliate website, a blog or an informational website. So if you have an e-commerce store or an affiliate site, this certainly does apply. Somebody define for me real quick who's here live, what's email marketing? Well, what are we talking about anyway? And I'll bet anybody here who has an email account can attest, at least being on that side of it, what email marketing is. You don't have to be an internet marketer to know about email marketing, right? Gail, I like your answer. Gail says email marketing is spam a lot of times. It kind of is, isn't it? If I had to guess, I was going to poll you guys on this earlier, but I just didn't make time for it. I was going to ask you guys about how many emails you get per day from companies who are trying to advertise something to you. I mean, just throw out some numbers. How many do you think you get a day? Keeping in mind that a lot of them probably don't even hit your inbox, do they? A lot of them end up over in your spam. Now, I've had the same email account now for years and years and years, and you know what? If I had to guess, for me anyway, I probably get somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 emails a day of people advertising stuff to me. A lot of it goes to spam. A lot of it I've cleaned up over the years, but that's what I get. I'm seeing some numbers from you guys that are pretty big. Elaine, you say 250 plus every day. 200, Christina. Some of you guys are saying 25 or 30. Yeah, I mean, a lot, right? The bottom line is anybody who has an email account can attest that they get a lot of email. You may call it spam, but a lot of you guys have done what's called an opt-in, which means that you've given a company permission to email you. And if you've opted into something and you've given a company permission to email you, technically that's not spam at that point, is it? Because you've opted in. Spam, I think, is more of an unsolicited type of email. Now, if you unsubscribe and people keep emailing you, that's really against the law. That shouldn't take place at all. But guys, the bottom line is you guys get all of those emails, and this is the point I was trying to make. You get all of those emails because guess what? Email marketing is the most effective kind of marketing there is on the internet, period. It is better than social media. It is better than SEO. It's better than all these other things in terms of if somebody can effectively get an email in your inbox, it has a better probability of getting you to their site and buying something than any other type of marketing, which may surprise you. And you guys may think, well, wait a minute, if it's such a good marketing strategy, why in the world have you taken this long to talk about it? Well, it's because, in order for you to effectively use email marketing, you have to have an email list. You have to have people that have already subscribed to you. And it's very difficult to get people to subscribe to you until you've actually got lots of people coming to your website and you've got customers. So once you've got customers, and even for you guys that have affiliate sites, I mean, you absolutely have to do it. Let me share with you guys. I'm on Gap right now, just to show you that any of the big players, big time retailers, they all do these email lists too. Okay, let me scroll down to the bottom here. You'll notice that Gap has something here at the bottom of their site that says sign up for email and get 25% off. And there's their little sign up button. Gap is trying to get you to sign up. Anytime you buy something from a website, they're going to ask you for their email, and they're going to ask for permission to send you updates because they want you in their email list. Because if they can get you in their email list, they have a high probability of getting you to buy on a repeated basis. Okay, so I show you Gap, but I could show you any company. Every company out there that knows anything about internet marketing is going to try to get you to agree to give them your email address so that they can market to you, or quote unquote spam you, right? Let me kind of take you over to just some statistics that I want to share with you real quick. This is from Campaign Monitor, which is kind of an email marketing tool that's out there. It's not the one I recommend. I'll show you what email marketing tool I use here in just a second, which by the way is totally free. This email marketing software, so that's good news. Free to a point. Probably most of you guys won't need to ever pay them anything, at least early on. I'll share that with you in a second. But I wanted to share with you some statistics that I think are fascinating, and hopefully by the end of this, you're going to be chomping at the bit wanting to start your own email marketing. Okay, let me share a few. I'm going to start with, there's 70 statistics listed, and I scanned through a lot of them. I'm actually going to go with number 39 to start. And I just want to read through a few of these just so you guys can get the feel for just how important this email marketing actually is. All right, so number 39. You guys see that okay? I'm zooming in just as much as I can here. There's 39 right there. You see that? Okay, so let me just show you. Let me read you 39. So 39 says, when it comes to purchases made as a result of receiving a marketing message, email has the highest conversion rate at 66% when compared to social, direct mail, and more. So in other words, the possibility of converting you into some kind of buyer or customer is substantially higher in email marketing. Okay, and you'll see that illustrated a bit more as we look through more of these stats. Number 40, email subscribers are 3 times more likely to share your content via social media than visitors from other sources. Another sort of interesting one, I don't want to dwell on that as much. 42, including a call to action button instead of a text link can increase conversion rates by as much as 28%. Have you guys ever seen in some emails that you're sent from companies, some of them just have like text links that are like, hey, click here to learn more, and then others have actual graphical buttons? You guys ever notice that? Where they use more graphics and they have like an actual, hey, buy now, or visit our site now, or take advantage of our sale now, and they have a graphical button. You guys seen that? That actually makes a significant difference. In fact, people who know what they're doing with email marketing versus people who don't have substantially different experiences with doing email marketing. There's really a lot to it. It's not that you just have this giant email list and then, every couple of weeks you send out an email and then magically everybody comes to your site. There's a lot of analysis and skill that goes into creating one of these really well done emails. We're going to work on those together, but that's an interesting stat. You need a call to action button. You don't want just a simple text link, which I thought was interesting and very true. 43, email marketing drives more conversions than any other marketing channel, including search and social. That was what we said earlier. It's more effective than marketing in Google or getting leads off of Facebook. And you'll see that here more as we look through some of these. 44, I like. A message is 5 times more likely to be seen in an email than via Facebook. Think about that for a second and why that might be true. Okay, you guys said to me that, on average, if I had to guess, I'll have to run the poll, but most of you guys said you're getting somewhere in the range of 20 emails a day. That's a lot of emails, and we all agreed that was a lot of emails. But if you get onto Facebook and you look through what's being posted on your social media, there's a whole lot more than 20 posts being put up in social media. In fact, there's hundreds, if not thousands. You're competing with a lot more in social media than you are in email, right? So you have a much better possibility of getting clicked on and something actually happening via email marketing than through Facebook. Plus, what's crazy is it doesn't matter if you have 5,000 followers or likes on your Facebook page. Only a small percentage of those people who actually like or follow you in social media even see your stuff anyway. Whereas if you've got a subscriber to your email list, it's highly probable that they're not only going to see your marketing message, but they're going to read your email and then even move on to click onto your site. It's just, statistically, it's not even close, which is why if we're not building email lists, that's something that we seriously need to consider doing. Number 45, and this kind of builds on what we're talking about, 4.24% of visitors from email marketing buy something, as compared to 2.49% of visitors from search engines, and then 0.59% from social media. Remember how we said conversion rates are much better off of email marketing? Like, it's not even close, right? 4.25% versus 2.5% in search engines versus 0.59% in social media. That's those are fascinating statistics, right? It just goes to show that emails are so much more powerful as a digital marketing strategy than anything else you can do. 46, sending 4 emails in a month instead of 1 significantly increases the number of consumers opening more than 1 email. Just as a word to the wise, I suppose, you should be, I've heard, and I don't know, I guess you have to test it yourself a little bit, but in my business, 2 a month has been about what I've done. So every 2 weeks. There's a fine line, isn't there? And you guys mentioned to me just a few minutes ago, some of you guys that are getting emails for surveys once a week are saying that's too much. Once every couple of weeks for an email sent out to your subscriber list is probably okay, although that can change based on a lot of things. Yeah, Barbara, that goes to make the point we just said. Barbara said, I check my emails more one by one, whereas Facebook, I skim for my family and skip others. And yeah, there's a lot more to skim through on your Facebook, isn't there, Barbara? And that's true of most of your social media. Rob says the only way to get seen is to do an ad on Facebook or at least boost the post. Yeah, like it used to be, if you had a lot of organic likes, or just likes on your Facebook page, that you were going to get a lot of your stuff seen. But that's not the case anymore. Facebook's made it to where getting a like doesn't necessarily mean that when I post something that person who liked my page is actually going to see it. It's just not as good anymore. And rightfully so. Facebook's in the game to make money, and so they've mitigated the value of that, so you have to pay for it. Cindy says, is it spam if I send 1 email to everyone I know promoting my business? No, I don't think so. If these are people, Cindy, that are your friends or your acquaintances, if you send them an email and they know who you are, that's not spam. That's just sharing with people that you know. It becomes spam when you trick people. Okay, so this is a good example of that. There's been times when here's a great example. So have you ever had like a contest where you have to actually give your email address to enter the contest? You ever seen those contests before? They have them all the time at different places, right? They're like, hey, enter our contest to win a free iPad, but you have to give us your email address. And it's like, okay, cool, yeah, sure, here's my email. But they don't have anywhere written that they're going to be emailing you and using that for marketing purposes. That's not right. That really isn't legal at all. They have to disclose that they're going to be marketing to you before you give them your email address. Anyway, bottom line is, it's only spam if somebody hasn't given you permission. And we'll talk more about why that is and some of the legalities behind it. But yeah, I mean, sharing with your friends is certainly okay. Yeah, so that is okay, Cheryl. You can send out your link to your friends and family. Sure. But that's the thing, like email marketing to your friends and family is kind of like a one-off thing because you don't want to abuse your relationships. You want to share that with your family, but you want to go out and you want to build a legit email list full of people who are interested in your stuff. That's what we're trying to build here. Let's look through a couple of other ones. There's so many good stats here. Let's look at 40. No, let's look at 48. 48. The average order value of an email is at least 3 times higher than that of a social media. So not only is the conversion rate lower with social media, but what they buy is less through social media than it is through email. 51, emails return on investment was 28.5% compared to 7% for direct mail. I won't comment much on that. 54, for every dollar spent, email marketing generates $38 of ROI. So it's a good investment to spend money on getting email addresses and that kind of thing. Just a few more, and then we're going to move on. I could go through a lot of these. Oh, this is interesting. 58. The total number of worldwide email accounts is expected to increase to over 4.3 billion accounts by the year end 2016. So it's more like more and more people are having email accounts, right? And having multiple email accounts. So email's not going away anytime soon. It's not being replaced by anything, and so that's definitely growing. 92% of online adults use email, with 61% using it on an average every day. So when you're doing email marketing, you're reaching a lot of people. 90% of email gets delivered to the intended recipient's inbox, whereas only 2% of your Facebook fans see your posts in their news feeds. So that's what we were talking about. That was the point you were making a minute ago, Rob, where you were saying on Facebook, just because you have a like doesn't mean that you're actually getting people to see your stuff. I have 1,000 people that like my Facebook page, but of those 1,000 people, only 2% are going to see my posts versus 90% of the people on my email list are actually going to see my stuff, right? That's pretty significant, and that's why email marketing is just vastly superior to social media. Oh, this is an interesting one. 69, open rate. So the rate at which somebody actually clicks and opens up the email is highest when companies send 2 emails per month. That's from the Database Marketing Institute. So I won't share any more stats with you. If you're interested in some of these statistics, I will happily send out this link to everybody. It's pretty fascinating stuff for sure. And we could go on and on about stats that prove why email marketing is superior. But I think we've made our point. 47, I'm not sure. I'd have to look in more detail at that stat. That's just saying email marketing has a return on investment of 3,800%. I'd have to look at the context of that stat. Okay, so can we all agree before we move on here that email marketing is important? And I want you just to, in the grand scheme of things, to see that it converts better than social media and search engines. But it's harder to get going because you guys might say, okay, great, clearly I need to be doing email marketing, but guess what most of you guys don't have? You don't have a You don't have an email list, right? You gotta have people on your list before we can start marketing, right? So we'll talk about in subsequent webinars how we can go about gaining people. But I suppose before we do that, let me just give you kind of the 4 steps to starting this. Well, let's see if I want to do that first. Yeah, let me share that with you first. So a lot of you guys are asking, what software do I use? This is the one I recommend most. This is MailChimp.com. How many of you guys have heard of MailChimp before? It's a pretty popular one. A lot of people use MailChimp. Aweber is another one. Aweber.com, that's another email software. There's a lot of email softwares out there. You talk to a different email marketer, they may tell you something different. I prefer MailChimp because it's good and it's what I've used for a long time. And it's free to use to a point. So let me just show you real quick. Well, first of all, let me explain why you need an email software. If you have an email list, and all you've got is like a list of 1,000 emails and names, and then you've got your Gmail account. Good luck like managing all of that, because that's going to be hard to do. You know, what are you going to copy and paste your emails into your Gmail and try to send out 1,000 at once? That's just not going to work. You need some kind of a software that's going to manage your lists, you know, and you should be able to segment your email list into customers or potential customers or newsletter subscribers, right? And all of that's possible and done, and not to mention you can craft these really nice graphically appealing emails through a software like MailChimp. So before you worry that, oh, it's going to cost money, it's not. As long as you have 2,000 subscribers or less, it's free, right? So, and you know, it'll be a while for a lot of you guys before you get more than 2,000 subscribers. So you can start up with free campaigns that you can run for 2,000 subscribers. Now, when you get more, that's when they start getting you, and it costs more money. But I'm telling you right now, if you have 20,000 subscribers, you know, that's a lot of emails. If you got 20,000 subscribers or more, you're probably making money, which means it's not going to be a big deal to pay out a little bit to maintain an email account or an email software like MailChimp, okay? Or whatever it is, right? There's, you know, you could have hundreds of thousands of emails. I mean, you imagine a company like Gap for a second, and all the people that shop on Gap and shop online, and I mean, I'm sure they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and email marketing for them is huge. I'm sure that's a huge part of their revenue stream, right? Just because those conversion rates are so high. Speaking of conversion rates, let me share something with you, and let me see if I can. Ah, shoot, I don't have the window up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here, I got to Google it real quick. Might be this. Ah, yes, it is. Here you go, guys. Let me show this to you. So this is the average email campaign stats at MailChimp. What's cool is so many people use MailChimp that they can aggregate their own statistics. And they show by industry open rates and click-through rates. So let me find for you guys e-commerce real quick. I'm going to highlight this in blue. Can you guys see that okay for e-commerce? Okay, you see that? So e-commerce, the open rate, whoops, sorry, I'm scrolling around. There we go. The open rate is about 17%, okay, which means for every 100 people that get an email from you in the world of e-commerce, so Gap, for example, Every 100 people that get that email, 17 are going to open it up. And of those 17 that are going to open it up, about 3% of those click. So that doesn't sound all that exciting, right? That means for a typical e-commerce site, if I have a list of 100 people, only 17 on average are going to open up one of my emails. Now, you could do better than the running industry statistic. You could do better depending on how well done your emails are. You could be at 25% or more, right? I've got clients that are in the high 30s, not in e-commerce, but in some other industries. So, but using these numbers, assuming industry averages, if only 3% are actually clicking onto your site, that may not sound like much, but the conversion rates on those are really high. You'll probably close a sale, in other words. So if you have 100 subscribers and you send out an email once every 2 weeks, you'll probably get at least one sale off of that email. That doesn't sound really that great, right? But that's because we're only talking about 100 subscribers. If over time you guys can build up your email list like that of Gap, right, who may have, who knows, 1.5 million subscribers, then all of a sudden that number gets exciting, Then when they send out an email, they're making thousands upon thousands of dollars off of that single email. Now that may not apply to you guys, right? You may never build your email list to more than several thousand. But that's still pretty impressive. I mean, let's run some numbers on that. Let's say you have an email list over time of let's say 7,000 subscribers, right? Which isn't any sort of sizable list. It's very doable. So 7,000 subscribers, but we'll say we're running with industry standards, and we'll say 2.5% of those actually click through to your site. So that means you're going to get 175 click-throughs. And your conversion rate on those is going to be high. It could be as high as 30%. So if you take 30% of those, that actually might equate to 52 sales off of that single email off of 7,000 subscribers. If you're sending out an email every 2 weeks, you're increasing your sales on your site by 52 every 2 weeks. That's over 100 sales a month off of your email list of 7,000 subscribers, which is pretty cool. If you double your subscriber base, those numbers could increase, right? So it's, I'm not saying you're going to be right at industry standard. You might be higher, you might be lower, but the point is, your email marketing campaign is going to significantly boost your revenues, much greater than just that of Google or that of social media, okay? Now, I'm going to show you in other webinars how to create emails. MailChimp actually does something really cool that I want to share with you guys. They will make a form for you to put on your site. So you got to remember, people don't just give away their emails for nothing, right? If I'm going to give you my email, you better give me something in return as a business. In the Gap example that I've used just a minute ago, Gap gives 25% off your next order. So that might be incentive enough for somebody to give Gap their email, and then Gap will continue to market to that person over and over and over again for as long as they can keep them. What are you going to give your customer? What are our options, right? You don't have to give something of value necessarily, not monetary value anyway. To get an email address, sometimes it's as easy as saying, hey, subscribe to our monthly newsletter where we send out tips and tricks every month on X, Y, and Z. People may give you their email for that. Or maybe you run a giveaway. Maybe you say, hey, for this month only, we're going to run a giveaway. Give us your email address, and in turn, you're going to be in the running for a brand new whatever, a giveaway, a product on your site. I guarantee you can get email addresses from that. Right? Give away something, and you can get the email addresses. Now, MailChimp, like I was saying just a minute ago, they'll actually create a form, meaning within MailChimp, you can create a little form that's like, hey, give us your name, your first name, last name, an email address, and click to enter or whatever, or click for your monthly newsletter or whatever. You can create this little form, and I'll show you guys how to do it. And then you put that on your website, and then you can start collecting emails. So you guys that have blogs right now, affiliate blogs, and maybe your giveaway is you've got, using my strawberry blog as an example, I might say, hey, the top 10 things you can do right now to improve your strawberry harvest. Click here, give us your email, and we'll send you the ebook, or we'll send you the article that gives you those top 10 tips, whatever. Give something away. Even if it's just information, give it away, and you can start collecting emails that way. Once you have a big email list, I promise you there are ways to make money on that. But the challenge for most of you is going to be, I don't have a list yet, so I can't even use this strategy. Well, we'll show you how to build it. But even if you put together this really great looking form, and you've got this really great ebook you're going to give away or whatever, none of it's going to work unless you can actually get people to see your site or your blog. So, you've got to work on marketing, and you've got to do some of the things that we've been telling you about. If you had a steady traffic flow into your site, you could put up a form today and start getting subscribers probably. But a lot of you guys don't have that traffic flow, so we got to work on that first, okay? But I do want to sort of start a series. I'm not 100% sure if we're gonna do this over the next couple of months. I wanted to give you kind of a high level today, show you the software I use, so some of you guys who are interested can start on it. And then we may start the series today and start doing a lot with email marketing, or we may work into that as we go. I haven't decided. But I think that's going to be plenty to give you. Let me just check one other thing. Oh, just real quick. I meant to write this out while we were talking about it, so it makes more sense. But let me go over to wordcounter.net, and let me just write out specifically what the plan should be. Email marketing. So number one, sign up for a software. MailChimp.com in this case is one I'm going to recommend. 2, create an offer, give away something, etc. We talked about why am I going to give you my email address? Offer me something. Number 3, create a form. This, if you're confused at what I mean by create a form, this right here is a form, where it's like, hey, give us your email and hit the sign up button. Create some kind of a form, and MailChimp will help you create that. And then put it on your site. That's it. I'll show you the nitty-gritty of all those things, but that right there is the crux of email marketing. 5, collect email addresses, right? That should happen automatically as you do that. And then 6, every 2 weeks or so, send an email. And what do you want in that email? Well, it could be whatever. It could say, hey, 10% off our store, come shop today. Or, here's a coupon code for the next week. You can use this and you can get 25% off your order. Shop today. Boom, you put a button there. Whatever, right? We already established that if you'll send out that email, you're going to get about 17% people to click on it, or open up the email. 3% of those that'll actually go in and look at the site. So if the statistics are true, this will work as long as we have the numbers. And this is right here the way to start building your list. Okay. Yeah, I believe so, Pam. I don't use a lot of GetResponse, but MailChimp is similar to like Constant Contact is another really popular name that some of you guys may have heard of. Like I said, Aweber. GetResponse is very similar. It's an email automation and management tool. It can create automatic autoresponders, right? It can do all sorts of different cool things. All really pretty much for free. I mean, I've managed most of my email accounts off of free email services like this until it got too big. So anyway, again, this was supposed to be super high level today. I just wanted to, I mean, you can hopefully now at least talk somewhat intelligently about what email marketing is, why it's the most effective form of marketing, and you've got at least a few steps here on how to get started. I hope to explore these in a little more detail as we get into this a little bit further. Okay? All right, guys. Well, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I hope this helped a little bit, and we will see all of you guys Thursday, same time, same place for more marketing training. Thanks for coming along.